Alright, welcome to another Let's Play. This is Zombie Pleasure and we're digging into Pillars of Eternity. This was recommended to me by my husband. It was a game that was kickstarted by Obsidian, I believe, and they were quite successful. This is my second go through because I actually did play a first hour, but I didn't like the time I spent. I didn't like the layout of my character, so I wanted to redo it over. And this time we won't be spending 40 minutes hopefully in character design because I believe I've got it kind of preset how I want. I didn't see a lot of the actual game yet, other than like maybe the first tiny little portion of an area, so everything should be good. Rangers, animal companions can be dark.
5 wagons grope blindly for the path on a starless night, their master glancing ever upward to the skies for assurance that he is on the right course. A dim lantern his only protection against the encroaching darkness. But the skies bring no comfort, shining no light, betraying no hint of what they know. The caravan carries travelers bound for the frontier hamlet of Gilded Vale, you among them, where a local lord has offered land and wealth to settlers from abroad looking for a fresh start. You have taken suddenly ill, sweating and shivering, and one of the other travelers signals for the caravan master to stop on your behalf. He pulls up just in time to avoid plowing into the trunk of a fallen tree that bars the way ahead. You will go no further tonight.
Alright. The artwork's very beautiful. The storytelling is very nice. We will be a female because I am a female. A woman's role in Eora is largely dependent on where she is from. In the Aether Empire, Valian republics, and the Dyewood, women occupy many domestic, educational, and organizational roles. They are primarily hunters, soldiers, and leaders of the tribes of Nostituk. In Glenfarth and Ixmital, women and men have more fluid social roles. In all societies, there are exceptions to the rule, and women can be found in a wide variety of stations and professions. Not so much in our world, is it? Okay? I have taken a look at each of the races. Of course, I'm going to stick with the elf. It's one of my more favorite races, and I understand it's a very popular one, but they're popular for a reason. So you got humans, commonly called the folk, are the most common race in the Dyewords in Aether Empire, Old Valia, and the Valian republics. Though not as large as towering Amaua, humans are more known for their strength and willpower. We have the Amaua, which I'm probably pronouncing so right. Let me see that. A-U-M-A-U-A. Amaua, I guess. The mighty Amaua are the largest of the Kith races and are commonly found in or near oceans. They're not truly aquatic. They have an affinity for water. Many of their civilizations, such as Rotai, are based on naval dominance. They are known for their unparalleled strength. There is the Dwarf. Virtue of land covered a number of colonies settled. Dwarves are the most well-traveled race in the world. They are commonly found in the Dyewords and Valian republics. In almost any colonized land, dwarves are known for their great strength and tenacity. And then there's the elf. Elves are the dominant race in Glenfarth and the White and Winds and are extremely common in the Dyewords and Aether. Elves are known for their speed and intelligence as well as a commonly isolationist nature. There's the Orlan, are the smallest of the Kith races, though many cultures don't consider them to be civilized at all. Also notable for their large ears, two-toned skin, and hirsute bodies, Orlans are commonly found in Glenfarth, the Ixmital Plains, and parts of the Dyewood. They are known for their mental intensity and quickness. And the godlike, which by far I find the most interesting. The godlike are children of the Kith, civilized races who have been blessed with physical aspects associated with the gods, though some do not consider it a blessing. These aspects may take many forms, often come with mystical powers. Aberrant head shapes are typical, and godlikes are unable to wear protective headgear as it is near impossible to find anything that fits. Because of their unusual nature and their inability to reproduce, godlike are often viewed with fear and wonder. And just to give you an idea of the godlike, because I find them so interesting, you've got the moon, the nature, the fire, and the death. One thing that kind of disappoints me with a lot of these races are that there's not a lot of character design with this game, and I understand it they didn't have a lot of resources, but it's because of that lack of resources I don't want to jump into the godlike or the Orlan, which were two that I actually was heavily interested in. But when playing around with their designs, it didn't come to what I would have liked. So there are the Wood Elves and the Pale Elves, and of course I'm going with Pale Elves. It is unclear exactly how long ago the Pale Elves, Glenfallen, come to the southern polar regions of the world, but they have lived there for at least 12,000 years based on their continuous contact with the Yamao traders. They appear to be among the most stationary ethnic groups in the known world, migrating within the polar regions but seldom venturing far north. They are rare in all northern lands, and most people consider them exotic if they have seen one at all. So yes, we will be a Pale Elf, and we get Elemental Endurance. All Pale Elves have increased burn and freeze damage reductions. Don't know how useful that is going to be. Now, normally I play a Priest or a Wizard in most RPGs, but I actually selected Druid prior, and I have to say I truly enjoyed it. So yes, we will stick with the Druid. Animists at heart, Druids tap into the spiritual power that flows through the simple living things of Eora. Plants, animals, and sometimes even living stones. While not necessarily religious, Druids do have a reverence for the natural world and a keen interest in understanding its mysteries. In most cultures, Druids are understood as a sort of primal musician, but among the Glenfarths, Gnostic, and many rural cultures, they may have high positions of influence and authority. And I'm probably going to constantly butcher these words until I hear them pronounced a couple of times, and I'll start pronouncing them correctly. So, we get an animal form, we have spells that have very big variety, and we get survival and lore. And lore is one of the ones I'm kind of interested in, and it's going to be something we're going to kind of keep an eye on. So, Druid it is, and we get an animalistic form, and it will be Kitty Cat. Draws upon the Druid's natural connection to the cat, temporarily allowing him or her to assume that form. The cat spirit shift has a naturally fast attack and can burst into even faster attacks for shorter periods of time. So, it lasts 15 seconds, speed is instant, and you get one perk encounter. Okay, so it focuses on might, which I don't understand why. Physical and spiritual strength, brute force, as well as their ability to channel powerful magics. Okay, so maybe I do. Intellect, highly recommended for Druid there. And resolve, concentration and will and deflection defenses. It can be useful in mental intimidation, leadership, and convincing performances. So we get 15 of them. I'm going to drop these guys down to 10. Level it all up. I'm going to do might up to 15. I'm going to do my intellect up to 15. Drop my resolve to 15. I know those three are going to be the most important and highly recommended. Some of these other points, though, kind of a flavor speech, or at least that's how I've come to understand it. And you know what I realized? I didn't even pay attention to when I started this video. Shit. Oops. I guess this one's gonna be a guessing game for me. Well, there's perception, which it represents the character's sense as well as their instinctive ability to pick up on details. An interaction that can be used to catch someone in a lie, to make an observant comment about their appearance, or to notice something happening in the background. In combat, it contributes to accuracy, the reflex defense, and grants a bonus to interrupt. There's dexterity, is an abstraction of character's hand-eye coordination, balance, and overall grace. In interaction, it can be used for sleight of hands and fast reactions. In combat, it affects the character's action speed with attack, spells, ability, and contributes to the reflex defense. Constitution, although it's not used much in interaction, is sometimes checked to withstand pain or endure a physically taxing ordeal. So Constitution ain't gonna be too high with me. I love flavoring speech. So these two I will kind of poke in a little bit more after these guys get fairly high. And Constitution will go up a little bit because it is good for health, and I know low health is a bad idea for me. So I am going to pump up my perception for now. So 15, 15, and 13. Hopefully we enjoy it that way. I don't want to drop these guys too low below plane because Again, this is a game I'm not highly familiar with, and it's a playstyle I've not really ever jumped into. We have so we get to pick where she comes from. And let's see, hold on. So intellect, resolve, and might are what's most important. So the living lands will give her might. Constitution, intellect. Once the crown jewel of the South Ron sees, Old Valia is now a crumbling remnant of an empire of warring merchant nations, counting many humans and dwarves among the ranks. The old Valian countries are still forced to be reckoned with and are proud of their rich cultural heritage. Let's see. Resolve, located in the northeast of Irglenfarth, the external plains are a large expanse of fertile savannas that are extensively farmed by humans and Orlon residents. It's one of the oldest in the world, though one of the least. So we're going to go with Old Valia, and why is because of how I'm going to pick her background. And they said that, right? Home to pale elves and small colonies of dwarf explorers. Okay, you know what? Yes, we'll go with the whites. The White of Winds. Because she is a pale elf, they said they don't travel. We'll stick more with that. So I'm gonna take it back up and jump away from what I was saying with the Old Valia. The large, cracked southern expanse of polar ice, the White of the Winds is home to pale elves and small colonies of daring explorers, outcasts, and adventurers. While virtually no plant life grows in the White, it is home to many hardy species of dangerous animals that forage from the sea or prey upon each other. Okay. So I'm getting an idea that with background, it's based on where she comes from. Because if I had chose Old Valia, you get this. Which actually I was going to go with Mercenary. Which is a blade and battle in your way of life. You solve your problems by pulling out your weapon and applying force. If we go with the winds though, we get Mystic, Laborer, Explorer, Drifter, Hunter, and Merchant. Which gives me lore and survival. Labor. See, I went with Mystic prior. I don't think I was too happy with that. So actually, I think since I am going to go with the Way of the Winds, we will go with the Explorer. Because it will pump her up with lore again. And she also gets survival. And lore and survival are going to be two of the attributes I'm going to kind of focus in on my character. You find the Siren's Call of the Horizon is irresistible. You cannot help but wonder what lies beyond the next hill or wave, and you built your life around finding out. And it's something a lot of us want to do in our adult lives, you know? We want to get out. We want to see. You know? It's like, why? And my answer is, why not? I'm a big on blue girl. And portraits, like I said, this is game with minimum resources. Unfortunately, that's the only pale elf portrait, so we will stick with it. We'll go with around her face, and I think we're gonna stick with that hair. Even though it don't quite match up with this one, it's not particularly going to kill me. That one. You know what, we'll go with this. It matches the portrait a little bit more, and I like bangs being in my face. Okay, so there is her appearance. I'm gonna go...
I'm flattered. Stand together!
Smooth.
Easy does it.
And her name will be Lilith. Lilith Ironville. Lilith Ironwill. That will be her name. Alright, and we have our character. So, we are done. The caravan master finishes addressing the group, his bushy red mustache and sagging jowls quivering as if from emphasis.
Everybody stays close to the wagons, got it? Stay out of the woods, and beasts take you if you are planning a stroll through those ruins up there.
He nods towards a looming black mass on the hillside.
Whole area's crawling with hut-dwelling types who'd be happy to stick an axe in you for trespassing. So mind that you don't track mud on their sacred blazing rocks. Tonight, everybody stays put, and in the morning we'll get the path cleared. Gilded Vale's less than a day out. Understood?
At last, the caravan master turns to you, frowning as he looks you over.
Touch of the rumbling rot, could be. There's a stinging beetle round here, carries it. You'll be fine once it passes your innards. Unless you don't drink water, course. Which case you'll be dead in a day. There's a berry grows in these parts, small and pink, called a springberry. About the size of a fingernail. Give you cramps if you eat it, but the frontiersmen make a tea from it. Calms the insides. Should get you through the night. You might check around, see if you can find some. Meanwhile, I'll see if we can scare you up some water. I know you want to hunt before it gets much darker, but see about refilling our water first. Got a sick one here.
Spoffle nods and slides a worn bow over his shoulders. Where would I find these berries?
They grow on a bush that's common round here, kind of funny looking. You'll know it when you see it. Doubt you'd have to go far off the road to find one.
What are those ruins?
Nothing you won't see on half the hills of Air Glonfoth. Money to be made selling their knickknacks in Defiance Bay, if you don't mind getting stuck with Glonfoth and arrows now and again. They didn't build them, but I'll be the effigy if they don't watch them like a mother bear. Of course, all the ones around here have been ransacked 10 times over. Got nothing left worth half a pond, so I hear.
Who did build these ruins?
Got different names for them. Settlers called them Ingwithans. Nobody that liked them enough to stop them becoming ruins, tell you that much.
Is it dangerous out here?
Not if you hurry about your business. And not if the weather holds up.
There is concern in his tone, but he does not elaborate. What kind of weather do they get out here?
This time of year, rain mostly, and wind. But there's a different kind of wind out here time to time. Locals call it a beowick, born out of the ether, the spirit's path. Never seen it myself, never cared to.
What are these huge rocks coming up out of the ground?
They don't got Audra where you come from? Well, it just grows up out of the ground like this. Goes deep like tree roots. Some of it all the way to the heart of the world, you believe the stories. It's more like a shell than a proper rock. Easier to work if you're a mason. Got all kinds of strange properties. Seems to have some kind of life of its own. Dies if it gets dug up. Loses its luster. Folks think it probably grew at one point or another, but not these days. The soul butchers in Defiance Bay use it for different things. I've heard tell it can hold a man's soul, but I don't care to see it. Got enough to worry about without seeing something like that.
I'll go see about those berries then.
Hold on. Take someone with you. I know you're not some helpless tenderfoot, not like most of this lot. But you drop dead, I don't want to be looking for the body. Got a schedule to keep.
He scans over the travelers, resting his eyes at length on a sturdy, armor-clad woman who has spent the journey's night sleeping on uneven ground without blanket or pillow.
Kalisha. Kalisha!
The woman looks up at her own time. She needs to find some spring berries. Watch that she doesn't drop dead.
No promises.
What kind of guide says something like that?
Kind you can afford.
Don't listen to her. You're in good hands. And I pay too well, if anything. Off with you. Hayden should have supplies. See that you're equipped before you head out. We're in harsh country. Get your berries and hurry back. And if you get so much as a tickle of wind, you drop everything and you run. Something in the air tonight. If it's a beowick, we'll shelter in the ruins. Hut dwellers be damned.
You heard the man.
Alright.
Let's get going before you keel over.
So I've read this. I don't feel an overwhelming need to go back over it, and I'm sure you're not much too interested. That's just me learning how to play the game. So we got our little party here. We're going to speak to Heodin next time. I'm actually going to go ahead and stop the video here. God knows I don't know if I even reached the time limit I normally like to touch up on. But we'll just say this video is more for character creation and getting a little bit familiar with the game. So I will leave you here and see you next time. So until then, take care.